I'm not big fan judo for wrestling.
Really? Why?
I don't like when people telling me, if I show wizard kick or something, oh, it's judo. It's not a judo, it's a freestyle. Jordan Burroughs, he's just different. He told once, right? God gave me this speed, God gave me this explosiveness. So he has his gift, and, because probably his coaches around, they saw this gift, and he saw this gift and believe, and he developed his style. But can everybody wrestle like Jordan? It's probably hard to say. In order for you to shoot penetration step, what do? You shooting forward. You walk forward. I put pressure in right position constantly. I can always control your feet. Always. You want to walk forward, you want to shoot forward. If I put pressure on you, I controlling you. Japanese will not let you see what they do.
No?
No. I tried. I tried video. No. Even in warm-up in the World Championship, they saw my camera, my phone. Iguchi was warming up. They jumped, put their chest. No way. How many kids we have in wrestling in the United States? What do you think?
In the 100,000s, maybe?
What if it's 1% doing Greco?
Makes a big difference.
Actually, if you go to Europe, Greco way more popular than freestyle.
Okay, Valentin, welcome back. It looks like you got into a fight. What happened?
Yeah, I was fighting with my surfing board. And I'm not sure, maybe I beat him. Because, yeah, maybe my black eye, but who knows what happened to my board.
Well, moving out there to California now, being on the West Coast. So
yeah, I enjoyed.
You're dealing with bigger waves over there.
Yes, sometimes yes. You could see that.
Oh, good. Well, we're glad you're okay. All right. So we were talking about the other day. We were on the phone. We were talking about the difference between going. I asked you the question: is it better? Do you think it's easier to go from Greco-Roman wrestling to freestyle, or to go from freestyle to Greco-Roman in terms of understanding and making a transition? Tell me what you were telling me the other day.
I think so. First of all, it's.
So what? First of all, you think so what?
I think so that it's easier from Greco go to freestyle, okay. and I always believed in that, but now using my story, being a Greco wrestler, never wrestled in my life freestyle, and I became a U.S. freestyle coach, and I had some success in freestyle. So it's proved me that I was right. That's what it proved.
So now you started yourself as a Greco-Roman wrestler. Your coach was a Greco-Roman coach, or just all over wrestling coach?
I never touched freestyle in my life before I moved to the United States.
Okay, so now
it's not a secret, Now people know. It's like maybe, oh, so he's a bad guy. He have no clue what you're talking about. But in freestyle, but it happened to be I had some results.
Right. So now I guess take me through when you were educated in wrestling. You have your master's degree in elite wrestling coaching.
Yes.
Correct. Now, do they? Do they talk a lot about the difference between freestyle and Greco?
Yeah, we study in university freestyle, generally speaking. But what means study? A lot of people, including myself, been studying English from first grade through university. Did I speak English before I came to that? Same, I was a Greco wrestler, and we studied freestyle, judo, track and field, swimming. So I could be a swimming coach. I could be a whoever coach. But in reality, I'm a Greco coach. That's my specialty, like elite coaching. But understanding of Greco helped me understand freestyle. And actually, my first one was when I moved out of Soviet Union, I moved to Israel, and I coached actually judo.
Okay.
Yeah, I coached a little bit Greco. Greco was not big sport in Israel, but judo is a big sport. So I became black belt in judo as a coach. I did not wrestle, but I did some tests, and so they gave me black belt, and it was easy for me to understand. But I also tried this issue with judo guys who tried to do Greco. There is no way they could do that. No. They grab my skin instead of gi, they grab my skin. They don't understand that. And so for me, judo was actually easy. And then when I came to the United States, I started learning freestyle for my son, being around my son all the time. And then I met great people like John Azevedo at Calvary Chapel. in 90s. So that's where I brought my son to train, and sitting in a room and helping John. And then I became his assistant. I start to understand folk style and freestyle. And when after that, I start to study more and more and more. But I think with my background of Greco, it's easier. For example, like to me, any shots, it's a change the level move, and it's a duck under. It's a Greco duck under, which you do, under the pressure, snap, duck under. It's like freestyle. But if you understand duck under, then you can do high crotch, farmer's carry, single leg, and so on. But if you understand that duck under, and as a coach, when I start coaching kids, I started actually teaching them freestyle through the Greco. And by the way, when I studied in Soviet system, that's what we study. We had to take a classes of freestyle. Like I said, I didn't wrestle, but I studied. Like in the college, you take in classes of freestyle. It's not something big. But I had a great coach, actually. He was a Penigin coach. His name Burakov. And Penigin was around, and Belaglaza were around. I had a great people around me. But so all they would say this, you got to start learning all moves, throws, and no shots, duck unders, and shot. When you're teaching shot, you should not touch your knee. So that's different. And so that's big difference between USA kids who drop on a knee. And on my theory, I mean they did it because the background of Soviet freestyle was from Greco. I mean, if you have time, I can tell you shortly history of freestyle in Soviet Union. Back then, it was the name of freestyle was American freestyle. That was the name. It was not freestyle is American sport. It's American sport of it came from the United States, I believe, in 1904 or 19. There was Olympics in America, right? 1904 and 1908. I don't remember. I think 1904, and it was freestyle. And then next Olympics, 1908, I think was only Greco. And then next Olympics was freestyle and Greco. But in America, America introduced freestyle to the world of sports. So, yeah. Again, now we're saying, oh, we're learning this freestyle from Dagestan, from that. But again, it's American sport, freestyle. And freestyle in Soviet Union came after Second War. Like I remember the history in 1944 when it was Second War almost end.
The time is now to take your mindset to the next level with Wrestling Mindset. Make sure you go to our website, wrestlingmindset.com, and sign up for your free trial session today. Don't wait any longer. You want the mental edge right now. You sign up for the free trial session, you're also going to get a copy of our free ebook, Building the Predator Mindset. This book has helped thousands of people build confidence, relax under pressure, get motivated, and build mental toughness in wrestling, school, and life. Make sure you sign up for your free trial session.
They start thinking about to participate as a country in Olympic Games in 1948, and they were not ready yet, but they start to do freestyle so they could participate freestyle in Greco. So that was an order of Soviet Minister of Sport to start doing freestyle. So all Greco wrestlers divided and start wrestle. Some of them start wrestle freestyle, and in 1984 they did not compete at Olympics, but because war, a lot of wrestlers got killed, so the economy. And 1952 in Helsinki, Soviet took part of freestyle and Greco in Olympics, and freestyle team won as a team. And so the guys who were in the team were 2 gold medals came from Georgia, because they've been like Chudoba is a Georgian wrestling called Chudoba. So it looks like a looks like judo or sambo. You grab, you hold a belt, and you're using your legs and upper body to throw. So that's judoba. And so the Georgians were most successful. 2 Olympic golds came from those guys, and the rest of the guys were Greco guys. So historically, those people became, when they retired, they became a coaches, and they create Soviet freestyle system, which was based on the Greco #1, and those kind of village wrestling, I would say. Like in Georgia, it was Chidoba. I believe in Armenia, Koch. In Yakutia, Hapsagai. Like Tajikistan, also Uzbekistan, all countries had Moldova. They had their wrestling. But most of the time, most organized were a Greco community. So they kind of write the program for freestyle, which based on the Greco program. And when I was at your home, you showed me the old Soviet book, right? And if you kind of remember that, most of the moves, it's a throws. Freestyle, I mean shots, it's not many shots there. So that's what it is.
Now, what makes me think so that the Soviet Union, they started with Greco-Roman, and Japan started with Judo. Now, those are both basically upper body. And it sounds like the mentality or the way coaches are trained and the athletes, more of an understanding of biomechanics and physics, whereas in America it seems to be more positions and moves, not thinking about it in terms of the biomechanics, the balance, gravity, and all of these things, forces, which is what you see in, it seems like, in Soviet and Japanese books. And you made the comment the other day about a Greco mind needs to be like an engineer. Can you talk about that a little?
Yeah, absolutely. Especially with a relatively new rules. When they, when I was a kid, I wrestled. It was a mat, like a four corners. Now it's a circle with a red line. Means, passive zone, right? And so if you go over the zone, you get in punishment. The rule changing, but this zone. So with that, it's became a lot of pressure. Because before, I remember we wrestled Greco, some of the coaches would teach you, if you feel dangerous, run away. So now you cannot do that. So pressure. And before, so again, talking about before, how people wrestled before in Greco, you would go to any tie-up you want. I'm gonna go clinch, you wanna go clinch, so that would define solution to throw. And then again, more and more people start to understand hand fighting, and wrestling became kind of, they need new push, and so they decide with this zone and circle that sport would be more dynamic, and it is and it's not. But the pressure now, and with the pressure, you have to study how you put this pressure, what reaction. I always say my best coach is Isaac Newton, because when you put pressure, you create forces. I put pressure on you, you push me back. It's a force. And from there, it's all your, it's all your fantasy there. That's Isaac Newton. I calculate you with my pressure. But in order to calculate you with my pressure, because you push me too, I have to be in better stance. I had to digest your pressure. I gotta feel it, but if you push me hard and I'm not relaxed, I don't feel anything. So it's a art of perfect stance, art of pressure. And under the pressure, I call it inside of the pressure, you're using your Greco technique. So you create the small spaces where you can let it go and use momentum, or you can disappear like a duck under or shark bite, or again, you can disappear and then turn your back, and it's a head and arms roll or arms roll, and so on. But it's, in the highest level, it's all become those moves coming from pressure. And again, to understand pressure, it's easy to say put pressure. So what's going to happen if we push each other? We're going to kind of hold each other like this. But in reality, the good wrestler, he's going to actually load your body on my feet, which is hard. It takes years to do. and it's got to be precise footwork, very precise. Like you said, it's an engineering footwork under the heavy pressure. It's engineering motion when you put pressure and you feel you can throw. Then it means it's I would say this, it's like a, you know, pressure, my legs look in your center of gravity, looking, and then I feel that's momentum, and it's a logical end, or how would you say it, my attack. That's a logical end of all my preparation. I would compare this with a soccer playing 11 against 11, you know, one goal at one side, so 10 against 10. And let's say it's a 245 minutes match, and let's say 75 minutes, 0-0. And then, you know, they you know, coach saying, you guys stay in the center, you guys defense go a little bit forward, offense go there. And then all of a sudden we see one-on-one coming, you know, the player come against goalie, right? And he score 1-0. That's what I compare with a 6 minutes fight with a shot, or, you know, the attack, like a logical end of all this preparation. So that's what I would kind of compare with a soccer or whatever. You know, so wrestling is not like a bunch of throws. I just shake your hand and start throw you all over the place. It's not gonna happen with a good wrestler. It's you know, it's a game of pressure, tie-ups, and so on and so on. Now, if you want to put pressure, I gotta touch you, right? If I want to put pressure on you, I gotta touch you. If I gotta touch you, you gotta touch me. So we're talking about fighting for position, fighting for tie-ups, fighting, for example, like, you know, Iranian, they perfect get underhook and put pressure on you. They're not putting pressure just from your fingers. They get an underhook and put pressure on you. You know, some wrestlers back in Soviet school was tone one. You get in tone one, get angle and put pressure, create pressure and then attack, or collar tie. But you have to first perform tie up, and you gotta be first performing this tie up. You know, put pressure and then create attack.
And
So
why would Greco-Roman better prepare you to think like that? Why would coaching Greco-Roman and studying Greco-Roman better prepare you than freestyle for that specific
because in Greco, in Greco there is no shots, there is no ankle pick. So in Greco you gotta grab something, and so you cannot throw not grabbing. So in order for me to throw you suplex, I have to have your body, or I have to have your arm and head. Or if I want to throw arm spin or arm throw, I need to have your arm. So, and same with you, you need to have some part of my body. So now we're fighting for the part of the body for position. In freestyle, like, you know, especially USA, I think they started like the John Smith, actually, I feel like he changed wrestling a lot. You know, you can shoot from distance. So yes, in freestyle you need pressure and so on and so on. But you know, like it's a body fake distance. You know, I go left, I go right. You know, I go back. You follow me, I shoot, and so on, so on. In Greco, you can't play this game. You know, you got to put pressure. So, you know, and pressure. It's not I create this pressure. Pressure, you know, people talk about pressure all the time. I remember John Azevedo was talking pressure all the time. Back pressure when you do escape, right? And folk style. You need pressure. But what happened to me, I decided pressure is going to be the main part of my coaching philosophy because, you know, we're all talking pressure, but nobody working hard on the pressure. I started coaching pressure with my Greco skills, like literally engineering, with a right footwork, with a right position, how you do it. It's an art of pressure, in my opinion. You know, so I spend way more time teaching pressure my students who performed well, like Amit or Helen or Aaron Pico or Elena Pereshko. And lately, actually, Arto Kinchadze, you know, he changed his wrestling. He stayed with me in New York. 4 years, I believe. And he changed wrestling completely, doing pressure, and he won World 2024, changing his wrestling. So again, I did not say those people, let's do a lot of throws. I was working more on creating pressure. And I mean, when you involve pressure, it's involved tie-ups position, like Amit, tone one or over-under position most of the time, an underhook. She would get tone one, underhook, and so on. After Kinshasa, he has kind of interesting grip inside of the wrist. He's really strong from there. Aaron Pico, collar tie. So everybody was different. Helen also, she could do underhook, she could do collar tie, she could do tone one. But Helen, the most creative from all of those. She has a lot of improvisation. So all of them, they were different, but all of them, I've been working most of the time like pressure. I mean, again, with all this technique, not only pressure, but based on pressure technique. So
how important is it, do you feel, to get them to think about it like you do? In other words, like in the American coaches that I've seen, it's mostly they're thinking setup, get him to step, get him to move, which is of course what you're saying too. But it seems like there's an additional, like you're thinking about the angles, the precision.
Yes, that's a Greco skills.
Yeah,
that's a Greco skills. Yeah, you're right. And I would create, I kind of paint in my head the model of the athlete. Let's say I saw Aaron, and he was a small kid. I coached him, and then I started feeling. A couple times I started teaching him snaps, and he snapped me so hard. then I understood that's his gift. So I start changing Aaron for pressure, and so we changed stance. We changed how we start wrestling, and we changed attacks. It was not attacks from distance. I did not let him attack from distance, only collar tie snap to attack. And so how, what was the question again exactly?
Was you explaining for them for them to understand that?
So yes, thank you for reminding. I kind of paint the picture in my head, the ideal model. I could see him Olympic champ, like untouchable Olympic champ. And then I start thinking day and night how you build that, what exercise, what this. Well, sometimes it's a crazy exercises I did. And I talk about it all the time. I talk. And sometimes I know I'm talking too much. Maybe I'm not supposed to talk with a student, but I want him to see what I see. And I want him to be in the same page with me. So sometimes, I regret that I talk too much as a coach because sometimes it's ruining your relationship. Maybe that's what showed me in the long run. I don't want to go there, but I would, they would be on my side to understand what exactly I want to do. And we would be kind of different, not like everybody else. Like, for example, it's being in Colorado Olympic Training Center when Aaron was young. Coach wanted him to do sprawls, and I said, I don't want him to do any sprawl because the sprawl for me, it's a step back. And I said, I don't want Aaron any step back. When he's attacking, he got to put pressure. When he's re-attacking, he got to put pressure. He always got to put pressure. Step back, for him, it's a weak spot. And so, I mean, it's literally maybe sounds crazy. I'm not denying sprawl. I mean, you need some time, with a game when you winning 5 points and 20 seconds left and it's Olympic gold. So maybe you need to place, dance around a little bit, like Helen did with Yoshida, if you watch like 10, 15 seconds left. But it's just strategically, but it's not your main. I mean, I don't really think about it step back. None. So that's kind of my belief. I explain my students I want them to understand why. Otherwise, it's going to be disaster because they coming from different backgrounds, different coaching, and I might sound crazy guy. Maybe I'm crazy guy, but we did something. We did something good.
Yeah, and obviously you have such a high level knowledge and training of not only wrestling yourself, but also as a coach. If you were going to give these tips to a parent or a coach who is trying to build a wrestler, would you say that everyone should be applying some pressure? Like, what are some of the general tips? I know there's a lot to it, but how could they start even thinking about applying
Yeah,
pressure? Should that
I,
be for most wrestlers? Most wrestlers?
I don't know. I, it's um, it should not work with a parent. Parent should not know what is the best for your kid. Coach should not know. If coach see your kid for 6 months and tell him what exactly to do, how he gonna win Olympic gold, he probably, uh, from my experience, is not honest. Like for me, I gotta study person before I see the way to take him. And again, when you're talking coaches who coaching kids, it's not their job to make Olympic champ. Their job, number one, fun, like everybody's saying, and that kid would enjoy wrestling, feel in love with the sport, and teach them right skills. And then in a couple of years, 2 3 years, after you get to know this kid and see him in the tournaments, you will open his gift, because everybody gifted in a different way. Everybody gifted, right? Remember, um, there was a movie about Barney.
Everybody's special.
Yeah, everybody's special. Exactly. So everybody's special, but you gotta find this gift. Coach gotta find this gift. Can I find this gift in 3 days? No way. And people, I have a lot of calls that help me. You have success. I have a kid. I said, no, I need the time. I need to see this kid, especially not only practice, especially the tournaments. Then you understand this kid more. So I would suggest parents, if they're not a coach, is do not tell coach what to do. First of all, it's disrespectful, in my opinion.
Yeah. But now a coach, should most coaches be thinking about teaching pressure to everyone just as a general rule in wrestling?
Mindset Monday is brought to you by our official sponsors, Eat Clean, bro. Make sure you order today, get them delivered right to your house, check them out, and make sure you put in your discount code MINDSET.
In Greco for sure, because that's the rules right now. But again, teach kids on the first year of pressure, it's probably impossible. You gotta teach kids moves, because you can't teach, like if you beginner and I start teaching you pressure and throw, it's too confusing. I just gotta teach you throw, step by step. It's a lot of steps how you teach any throw. For example, if I teach you suplex, I'm not gonna teach you pressure. I wanna make sure you can go from your feet to the back on your back bridge. When you do that, maybe I'll teach you. I would love to teach backflip. So you feel good to explore, and do backflip, and then you feel safe to go on a bridge, right? And then maybe you go from your knees to the bridge, and so on, so on. Then maybe I'll teach you to throw heavy ball over your head, like a suplex at the beach. And then when I feel you ready, then I start teaching you suplex. Right? I mean, it's a way longer process than you think, but it's a process how you teach. But there's no pressure right now. In couple years, when you can throw suplex anybody, then I'll put together pressure, legs ready for momentum, how using pressure, pick him up and throw. So I would not teach pressure and move same time, but pressure I would teach kids doing games. Any games, like push out each other from the circle, whatever. So you can teach pressure through the games, but it's hard to teach kid pressure. Games like, yeah, you stay in this position, push him out, who is who, and so on and so on. But teach pressure kid, it's hard. Athlete, all the athlete with a good technique, then he understand more pressure. But again, he gotta learn pressure through the games, through the grinds, through all this stuff. You gotta understand pressure, and then you make it perfect.
Would you tell the kid to just keep moving forward right away, or is that going to create bad habits because then they would go like this? Like,
I would, and I would fix it. Yeah, I would say, oh, you reach this, you reach this. Yeah, yeah, I would do that. But again, when kids start to understand pressure, then I did a lot of exercises like if I teach, for example, somewhere outdoor, I would use heels. Actually, like let's say you do duck under when you're up on a hill, and I go from right, or it's even harder to fix when you're saying leaning forward. If you stay in downhill and I'm shooting, or I do duck under, it's harder because this way, if I send my head forward and my butt back, I might fall down, right?
So you would teach kids go, and you said you did this with Helen, right? You teach her going downhill.
Yeah, that's
Would it
what
be-
I did.
would it-
Downhill at the beach, yeah.
Would it be a good idea for a lot of wrestlers to do that more, to make sure they bring their hips with them?
Absolutely. But again, I can't
Downhill.
I just can't give you on the phone. But yes, I teach a lot of people. Actually, for example, I do push out like Iranian with underhook down on the heel, so it's easier for me to push you out. But at the same time, if you have an overhook, right, and you under me, and if I don't bring my hips in, you can throw me.
Yeah.
It's easier for you to throw me. Like a wizard kick, for example, right? Imagine I'm pushing you out and I'm up on the hill, and you down on the hill, and you have my arm because I have overhook, so underhook, I have underhook, you have overhook. So you can do wizard kick if I'm just pushing you, not bringing my hips in. So I kind of, with a heel, and if heel is really heel, it's really hard for me. So I gotta exaggerate to bring my hips in. Really hard. Actually, who's doing good job with that? Dake.
I was going to bring him up.
Yeah, they bring his hips very sharp, like he wrestled Greco, and then I heard he did wrestle Greco. So so he was very important. And so this exercise, and then you can turn around and push me up on the heel, so it's good for your legs. So those heel exercise would be very good. And again, I'm a crazy coach, so sometimes what I did when I did a heel after the rain on the mud. So you can slip down. So you kind of catching balance and you do that. I mean, you're not gonna find this in the book. You gotta be crazy enough, to find out something like that. Yeah.
But it's because you're thinking about, how do I create a situation where you're going to have to.
Yeah, I'm thinking 24 hours all my life. I so love what I do. I'm always thinking, and sound like maybe it's crazy, but if they believe me, let's try, and and it works.
But what is it?
Yeah, I tried with After a lot of things. He believed we have a good relationship. It's easier with After because he's from Georgia, and they have a different relationship with the coaches, so he trusts me whatever I say. So it's way easy with him.
But
yeah,
it sounds like Mr. Miyagi from the Karate Kid: wax on, wax off, and all of a sudden he learns karate.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, but again, I have a lot of things how I teach, and I could tell you today what I do to teach if you ask me questions, but tomorrow I might find something new. I always process something.
So who in Greco-Roman, I guess I think about it, well, the people who just start with freestyle, do they tend to, they're leaning forward more? They don't bring their hips in. Their posture isn't as good. What do you see mechanically with the difference?
In freestyle, it's harder because your head is kind of lower. In Greco, you're staying up. In freestyle, you control your legs, right? So you blocking your legs. So you kind of lean forward, and with leaning forward, put pressure. It's hard. It's a special skill, and you're not gonna fix it in 1 day or 3 days or 5 days. We've been doing with Helen a couple years at the beach every morning, because I remember I had problem to have a wrestling room. I did not have my wrestling room, but I did have a beach. That's where I got my eye, but that's a good beach. So we always had the sand, and footwork on the sand. It's It's really good. There's a lot of exercises. Again, it could be different exercises. It's all in my head, and it could be tomorrow. It might be something new. I don't know.
But there are some fundamentals that probably would.
Fundamentals keep pressure and keep your center of gravity in the right place. So let's say it was my eye. If I don't see my knees, I put pressure and I don't see my knee. I check my eye down and I see one knee, I'm okay. But if I don't see knees, means I'm leaning hard. For example, I mean, with experience, you don't need to see it, but for the kids, you say you better see your knee, because probably they don't realize they're completely leaning.
Right. And you hear a lot of, I think also about some of the Japanese books I looked at too, similar. They talk about center of gravity. Now in Greco, it would seem easier because your center of gravity, you're standing more or less straight up. So your hips are always under you. But now in freestyle, and I mean, I guess in America, we think like, well, get your kid used to this at a young age, being bent down in a stance. But then a lot of times we're leaning, getting caught here, and we're not ever bringing our hips in. I don't think I ever did that well from elementary school right through college, making sure I bring my hips in, where maybe if I started with Greco, you have, you know what I mean? With the center of gravity.
Yeah. Or you can start, again, let's say, get a freestyle stance. I'm not telling you to do that, but that's what I would do. And you go after rain on a hill on the mud, and with this stance, go forward. If you did misstep, you're probably gonna slide down.
Going up?
No, down.
Down.
Walk down. Yeah. So if you go a little bit forward, you might end up your face in the mud.
Right.
So and for kids, sometimes it's fun. I mean, I'm kind of I'm exaggerating a little bit. You understand that? I hope you understand.
Yeah.
So I want to see that tomorrow somebody gonna say I'm crazy and keep me away from the kids. Because I'm just kids. But I'm just saying how creativity could work.
Listen, I think the sunlight's important. I think the change of scenery is important. I think it's more fun that way too.
Yeah.
Just being trapped inside a gym all day.
Yeah. No, but I'm just saying example. It's just examples. This could be more examples. I'm just throwing you example the way I was thinking and I'm thinking. Yeah. Not necessarily in wrestling, like you're saying.
Right.
Surfing is great as well too, actually. Surfing.
For balance?
Oh yeah. Surfers are good wrestlers.
Yeah.
And actually wrestlers catch and surf really fast. I learned surf in the first 10 minutes. I was able to catch wave.
Is what foot is the foot that's forward the same foot that's usually forward in wrestling for you?
For me, yes.
Yeah.
I would think
so too. It would be very hard to move the other foot forward.
Yeah. You're gonna get a wrestling stage right away. It's just feeling like I mean, I'm not saying like a surfer, which is bad, but I'm saying like a wrestler, like catching balance in the waves. I mean, don't make a jokes looking at this one.
Now, you said with your experience with judo before, I didn't realize you coached judo before. Do you think you'd have an advantage also starting with judo at a young age for a wrestler because of the same kind of?
Yeah, I'm not big fan judo for wrestling.
No,
I actually,
really, why?
I don't like when people telling me, if I show a wizard kick or something, oh, it's judo. It's not a judo. It's a freestyle. But judo, it's a great sport. But again, freestyle is freestyle. Judo is judo. Judo, you pull. You have a gi. There is no pressure, release pressure using momentum. It's a gi. It's a different footwork. Absolutely different. It looks the same, but unfortunately, in US, you see something. If it's not a shot, so people would say, "Oh, that's Greco. Oh, that's judo." So if you see throw with the legs, it's a judo. If you see throw without legs, it's a Greco. If you see the shot, that's a freestyle. But freestyle, it's a real sport.
Right.
It's a real sport. So I don't like when people are saying, "Oh, it's better start judo, so then you're gonna be a better freestyle." Maybe yes, because they don't teach it, so you're gonna learn in judo. But I believe as a coach, it's a coach responsibility to teach this stuff in freestyle.
Right.
Because it's different. It's still different.
But unfortunately, the American coaches, and again, I'm not a coach, but I got my master's degree in exercise science. I know a little bit about anatomy and kinesiology, but
Yeah.
I still wouldn't think to coach a wrestler thinking in terms of center of gravity and momentum and torque and joint angles and biomechanics. I don't think about wrestling like that.
Yeah, I mean, you just said it. You know, momentum, where you get in momentum. You create pressure and then you release pressure. Versus judo, you gotta pull. Pull and jump under. It's like a footwork, pull and legs, which is a little bit different. And,
Right.
and it's harder for judo people. That's why I'm saying I wrestle judo people, they try to pull my skin and turn their back. Whereas with me, I put the pressure and then I release pressure, so I have this arm and I pull it. And this arm going just with a momentum. You know, so that, I mean, it looks the same, but it's not the same.
Yeah.
It's different. So again, from my experience, we had a guy, I think he retired in freestyle and then he went to judo, and I think he placed second in the world Olympics in judo in age 40 when he was retired of freestyle, because, you know, judo is physically it's easier, even though it's very technical sport. It's way bigger involved than the freestyle and Greco judo sport, but still, I feel, you know, the principle, it's way different. Way different.
I know what you said the other day. You said Satiev and Bela Glasov, their coaches were Greco, or they did Greco first. Talk about that.
Beloglasov, yes. Satiev, he had a coach, actually, Georgian guy, and Mindiashvili. And Mindiashvili was great with throws like Chidoba, the Georgian. That's what I said. Remember, I said 2 first Olympic champs in 1952 were Georgian. And Mindiashvili, his background, he came from Georgia. And so all his students, if you remember Yarygin also had those leg throws. And Satiev did leg throws. I mean, Satiev did everything, but he was really good, like doing overhook to the leg throw, like inside kick or outside kick or foot sweep. He was perfect in it. Same with Adam. That's why they're genius. I mean, they've been shooting, but not that much.
Yeah.
Right. If you memorize, but it came from their coach, because he's, you know, it's a Georgian style of wrestling with the throws. Unfortunately, in Georgia now, it's a little bit dying, this style. When I go to Georgia, I have my camp and I ask to show moves, and they say, "Oh, we're not doing it anymore." But I doing it. I like it. So that's what it is. But in Beloglasov, I think Granit Toropin, you know, he coached it back then in Harvard. He has a Greco background.
Who were some of the best wrestlers, I guess, from the past and now that you see in terms of pressure? Not necessarily the best wrestlers, but the best at applying pressure.
For
just in general, like how you said, pressure is one of the most important things for you.
For freestyle or for Greco?
I guess we'll do both. We got time. Do both. I don't know many Greco wrestlers. I feel like,
you know, I start to thinking about wrestlers like 30 years ago. I'm 67 now this year. You don't even know those names, but I remember.
I would know from the 1970s on.
Okay.
In freestyle.
Okay, in Greco back then, in 1968, was a Georgian wrestler, Roman Rura. He created slide by, actually. The move slide by, we call in Soviet bull. You know, bull. So he's a Greco wrestler, Olympic champion in Mexico in 1968. He created slide by. And then Valery Ryazantsev, he was Olympic champion twice in 72 and 76, I believe. Greco, and 5-time world champ. His nickname was Bull, because that's what he did. and he did it from perfect pressure, like pummel, 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 boom, bull from press. And again, he was like unbeatable, 5-time world champ, 2-time Olympic champ in Greco. So his pressure was unbelievable. Now, if you watch ideal pressure in freestyle, that's Sativ. Watch Sativ. He never go back. If you watch Sativ, his steps like really small, tiny steps, but legs always moving forward, always. I used to talk to him, and he said, if you watch, imagine it's like a, like it's a grass on the field, and you gotta clean all this grass. So when you go with this machine, and so that's how he said I would compare myself walking all over the mat, moving my opponent all over the mat. So it's like no grass after the match. I'm moving him all the way. So that's Sativ with his small, tiny steps. Always small pressure. If you watch Sativ, it's always small. He never talk about it, but more I watching him, it was a lot of pressure.
Yeah, and that's interesting because he was very tall, but he wasn't as like muscular.
No, but if you watch again, it's he always walking forward, always. Yeah. And to me, it started making sense. All of a sudden, I start thinking about it. If you shooting forward, in order for you to shoot penetration step, what do? You shooting forward. You walk forward. So if I put pressure in right position constantly, I can always control your feet, always. So you wanna walk forward, you wanna shoot forward. If I put pressure on you, I controlling you. I know each your step. So in order for you to shoot, you gotta change level and shoot forward, and I feel it. So when you start even changing level and leaning toward me, I feel it. Even before then, you probably not committed yet. I already feel it, and it's the best time for me to reattack. So when if I want to shoot and I'm walking forward, it's easy for me to attack because I'm still walking forward, right? I'm walking forward and I'm shooting forward. I'm not going back. That's why I don't like sprawl and shoot forward, because there's no momentum. Go sprawl back and shoot forward. There's no momentum, right? Imagine, right? You understand?
Right. Yeah, because I'd have to reset myself before going forward.
Yeah. So walking forward and shoot, it's always easier than sprawl and shoot. It's plyometric, how you land, and so on and so on. But by physics, it's always easier to walk forward and shoot. And so if I ideally walk forward with the right pressure, right stance, I can always read you if I play number one. How I play number one? Let's say you're doing per minute 70 steps, and I do probably 79 steps against your 70 steps. So I'm gonna be number one if I put 79 steps against your 70 steps on your body. So physically against Isaac Newton, right? So I'm already playing number one, and plus my tie up gonna be a little bit ahead of your tie up. Somewhere my collar tie gonna be first, my underfoot gonna be first, and I do a little bit more steps inside pressure, not steps outside, just steps inside of pressure. And so this way, I always gonna feel you. So every time you try to shoot, when you try to shoot, you're doing first step and you open your leg. I can reattack right there. I can drop to your ankle. I feel it, like I said, before you commit it. So your shot is the best time for me to shoot to a score, or my shot is the best time for me to shoot because I snap and shot and I score. So I always, in my mind, there's no defense. I always gonna win. I'm not thinking about defense. That's my defense pressure. That's how I control myself. If I put pressure on you so you can shoot. That's my defense.
That makes sense. Who are some of the best guys at doing that now that you've seen in like the last 10 years?
Ramonov. I like Ramonov. The 2016 Olympics. Yeah, he's disciplined with his hands inside, and if you watch his re-attack, like a drop to the, you start shooting, he's already reshooting because his hands always inside and his legs ready to reshoot. If you watch match with Asgaro, final matches was classic. So yeah. So I mean, obviously Sativ, but Sativ more than 10 years, but Romanov was great. Elbrus Tadej was great with his pressure snaps as well. Elbrus Tadej, but it was 2004. He was Olympic champ. Right now, Yazdani, a lot of pressure, right? And underhook, you see, like Dave Taylor, he find out how to block underhook and change stance, so he could not find the point of pressure, and he lost. Yazdani, right? But before Taylor, he dominated because he knew how to get underhook with anybody in the world and put pressure, which is important to get something with anybody in the world to be a world champ.
Are there any Americans that you saw that have done this really well?
We in America, we have guys super gifted. I did not see system. I see some system with a Snyder pressure, but you can, he's great. I love Snyder. You can study him. He's predictable. Jordan Burroughs, he's different. He's just different. He told once, right? God gave me this speed. God gave me this explosiveness. So he has his gift, and because probably his coaches around, they saw this gift, and he saw this gift and believed, and he developed his style. But can everybody wrestle like Jordan? It's probably hard to say.
But you're saying with Tadiev and Romanov and and these guys, Satiev, you said you see more of and Yazdani, see more of a system.
Yeah.
What does that mean? What do you mean by that?
It's getting in to your position, or Iranian, what's his name, 65 kilo world champ. He's also Yazdani. I forgot his name. He's not doing underhook, but he's over under pressure, and a knee drop or arm spin, or re-attacking pretty well. What his name? You know who I'm talking about?
From the past Olympics.
Yeah, from Iran.
I know what you're talking about.
He was a world champ. He like a long arms.
Yeah.
I forgot his name. He wrestled Yanni, I believe. Yeah, he's a world champ. He's a good wrestler.
So you see more of a system in terms of how they're getting to it? Is that what you're saying?
How to get in is also system.
Okay.
How you get in with anybody in the world, the position you want to be. That's a system. Like Yazdani, if let's say Yazdani, if he can get on the hook one side with anybody in the world, he is already 90% world champ. Yeah. Even with one move. But if he could get on the hook with the pressure, with dominating pressure like he did, nobody can wrestle him. I mean, obviously he's a great wrestler, he has a big technique and so on and so on. But if you can't beat his position, there's no way you can beat him. Or imagine I can hypothetically, if I get in 2-on-1 with anybody in the world and have 2-on-1 with an angle, body angle, not like chest to chest, body angle. I'm moving you. There is no way you can beat me. But again, if you can get this arm with anybody in the world, is that easy? No. You have to study how to do that. So it's 4 or 5 years, just work how you get in 2-on-1 with anybody in the world.
Right.
Or with Aaron Pico. Nobody liked to wrestle him because he's gonna be the heavy hand on his, gonna land it on your neck, and it's gonna be collar tie on the whistle. Whatever you do, you're gonna collar tie. So let's say as a coach, I would say, oh, you wrestle Aaron, you see this heavy arm, get 2-on-1 on this arm. So this way he would not be able to do that. And you think coaches did not tell him that? I mean, the people who he wrestled, of course they did, but they could not do that because he was better getting to collar tie versus somebody getting his arm.
Right.
So that's a system.
Would he have? How do you think he would have done if he would have continued? Do you think he would have been an Olympic champ?
I'm like his coach. I always believe he'll be Olympic champ. Yeah, I always believe it.
Would he be able to come back right now and win it? Or too much time passed?
Now it's a different sport, different life.
Different.
And it just yeah, we can dream about it. It's like it's a reality. Yeah, he lives his dream. He got where he wanted. He's in UFC, and I hope he will get what he dreaming to get.
Yes.
But I always believe he can win Olympic Games.
Yeah.
So without this belief, how would I coach?
Right. And like you said, being able to, you have to have an overall vision of what you're trying to create. And a lot of times we don't have that. Sometimes it's just like too cookie cutter. Like you're trying to train the whole team the same way, as opposed to looking at what each individual does.
Yeah. It's very individual.
Right. Right. And you said the Japanese, they're applying more pressure now.
Now, yes.
Talk about that.
Well, lately I was watching Japanese, before I did not see them putting pressure. I could see them disappear when you try to put pressure. They would left, right. You push them, they go left side, go right side. So their footwork, ridiculously good. But now I see a lot of Japanese using pressure, using tone one, like Japanese 57-kilo girl, Olympic champ. I forgot her name. She wrestled Helen 2 or 3 times. Every time tone one and control her. And Helen, the best girl from the United States and from the world. And she able to control not only her, anybody in the world, she controls tone one. I did not see Japanese did it before. I remember that, again, it might be true, might be not, but old people, when I was a kid, told me that tone one came from Soviet school against Japanese. To control Japanese because they've been moving too fast, to tie them up. So that's where tone one came from. That's what, again, I don't know. That's what old coaches told me. Right now, Japanese doing tone one.
From now until Fargo, our partners Champion Athlete Wrestler Nutrition, the premier weight management program for wrestlers, will be offering a special Fargo nutrition program for only $350. That's $160 saving. Visit their website, champion-athletes.com, or call 800-324-1447 today.
Now Japanese put pressure. Now that kid, Ono, right? Ono, his name. It's a pressure collar tie snap to the attack. Almost like, Aaron had a different one, but kind of like collar tie snap to leg attack. But before snap, it's a pressure. How are you gonna snap without pressure? There's no, because snap, it's a release of pressure.
Right.
So that's what I see lately. Japanese, Takatani also. So all this new generation of Japanese boys and girls doing pressure. And they became actually successful in Greco as well.
Right. So pressure seems to be one of the key answers, and we have to learn Greco. We got to start thinking like a Greco wrestler and start doing that.
Yeah, or maybe just learn from Greco ideas. We kind of coaches, we share ideas, or we stealing ideas, we listen. Oh, well, that's what he does. Okay. Japanese will not let you see what they do.
No?
No, I tried. I tried video. No. No way. Even in warm-up in the World Championship, they saw my camera, my phone. When Iguchi was warming up, they jumped, like put their chest. No way. No. Yeah, you can videotape when they wrestle, but when they drill something,
Wow.
Yeah, that's what I see. Again, I don't know.
They're trying to learn from us. They're coming over here. They're trying to learn from us.
They're greatest students in the world.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's also sport. They learn from us, but I think we got to be careful.
Yeah. Okay, good to know. Because now we have Ono, who's coming to Penn State to learn.
Yeah, we learn from him. He learned from us, but we'll see who learned from who.
Yeah. What do you think's gonna happen? You think he's gonna probably learn more from us than we're learning from him?
I don't know. I'm not involved in those theories, but I just see the Japanese great students. Like I said, I saw them in 2018 in Budapest World Championships. The cameras were all about around the arena, like, I don't know, 15, 20 cameras, all around arenas, with all Japanese there. And I suspect they might, they might do, again, I don't know, but I would think 3, 4 cameras on one mat, so they can do from different side, and then they might create 3D.
Wow.
3D videos. So, I mean, those technologies are available now.
Yeah.
So
So do you think
I would
do you think
not I would not be surprised if they try to 3D you, they try to feel your steps, your pressure, your this. They might feel it. They might create something like that too.
Well, because they have guys in Iowa and they have guys in Penn State. Do you think they sent them here to infiltrate us, to study us? Do you think it's a planned thing, or you think it's just sport?
I don't know. It's a democratic country, Japan. They can't just send, like, oh, you go there. I mean, they cool boys. They cool people. I love Japanese. They cool.
But they could pay him.
But yeah, but what they do, who knows? I don't know. We will do the same. Right? We try to study from each other, and it's sport. You're trying to win.
Right.
So you're trying to. I would not say it's a cheating.
No.
But you try to study.
Right. You just wonder how far do they take it?
Yeah. For example, you go into Olympic Games and you hurt your right knee. What are you gonna do? You're gonna tape your left knee. Right, so people would not know that if I get your right knee, you're gonna give up.
Maybe tape both knees.
But maybe somebody would love to know what exactly you heard, right? Right.
Right.
So yeah. But again, I love Japanese. I love what they do. I want to go and study from them too. It's a lot of things to learn from them. So
yeah,
it's an old culture.
Absolutely. Yeah, and learn from everyone. All right, so I guess finish us up. Talk about what you're going to be involved with Greco, with Team USA. Finish us up with that.
It's right now. It's not Team USA. I would say it's more from Andy Bars, behind me. Yeah. I came back to Los Angeles, to my home. So I talked to Andy, and Andy said, we have a Greco. No Olympics in Los Angeles 2028. In 2024, I believe we did not win even one match. I'm not sure. Is it in Olympics? And so we hit the bottom.
Right.
So what I'm trying to do, I try to help Greco people as much as I can, but I believe that we need a development system. Even we are not gonna have, if we're not gonna have a success in Los Angeles, I hope we will. We can go beyond, because if you watch history of Olympic Games, let's say Olympics in Seoul, after Seoul Olympics, South Korean got pretty good Greco team. After China, Chinese got pretty good freestyle and Greco team. So what I'm saying, the Olympics could be push to develop Greco. I mean, we'll try. I mean, I deeply believe that development program. We need development program. Otherwise, it's gonna be the same. We need development program. So I'm trying to see how I do development program. I have some ideas, and again, if it will help Olympics, is great. If it wouldn't, I believe it's gonna help another next Olympics, which is gonna be in 2032. But I think that's what we need, because for right now, a lot of Greco wrestlers reach me out. They want to train in California. Why? Because it's Olympics, and it's different. And a lot of athletes, they would love to come to the United States. But for us, having those people not having development program, that's silly.
Right.
You know, we need to have a development program. So my idea right now, since it's hard to, you know, we don't have many good Greco programs in US. So, and me having experience developing my Olympians and those world champs overseas, I kind of want to try to do development program having those kids who who does independent study, and they really should be dedicated Greco only, maybe in the future. And I understand there's going to be questions. So Greco, there's no education, there is no this. So I try to put it as a system. If you do independent study and you training overseas, you know, different countries, and then you go win Olympic gold, and then you know, we would have sponsors in the future who would have to get at least bachelor degree online while you travel, you know, and you know, it would be paid for it by sponsors, whoever it could be in the future. And so for some people, I believe, you know, it might be just good answer because, for example,
Work for Pico, work for Judo.
yeah. For example, if you want to do judo, would you go and wrestle college wrestling?
No,
No. So why don't we treat Greco like this?
we should.
Yeah. So maybe I'll find those people who would say, "Oh, it's cool. You know, I can stay, see the world, train overseas, come to United States, and then in the future, I want to bring the stars to United States to have camps here in United States." And so, but those people, you know, seeking for Olympic gold,
Yeah.
they give up the maybe dream of NCAA, but they seeking for Olympic gold, like you said, like Aaron, like Segudo. I'm not saying it's many people who do that, but let's say if we have how many kids we have in wrestling in United States? What do you think? How many would we have? Like
in the 100,000s, maybe.
What if it's 1% doing Greco?
A big difference. Makes a big difference.
Yeah.
But how about this talent identification? When coaches when you were learning about how to like identify talent, how would you look at a kid? You watch them wrestle, you watch them do different things. This kid is probably better for freestyle, built differently, and the same thing with Greco.
It's hard to say. Maybe
hard.
sometime, but
No,
I think it's a love of the sport, just love.
love.
You know, and that's why we need those development programs, because some kids might feel in love in Greco. Like I fell in love in Greco, and back in Soviet. Then I had a couple books, Sambo, Judo, and Freestyle, and everybody saying, "Oh, it's better because Greco you can't grab." And I said, "No, I love only Greco because I feel Greco. It's like everything. I know Greco, so I can do it." And actually, if you go to Europe, Greco way more popular than freestyle.
Really?
Oh yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, like watch all Scandinavian country. It's Greco.
Okay.
Right now, yeah, those countries
Because
like
the throws look nicer.
I don't know, but Europe again. I grew up in Europe. I grew up in Ukraine, and Greco way more popular.
All right. Well, we gotta take a page from these countries and see what they're doing, because
yeah, I mean, if you watch geography of medals in Greco, it's way more than medals in freestyle. And again, geography and freestyle, this Olympics, I think 5 Dagestanian took to different countries. There's medals, right? But it's Dagestani and it's not that countries.
Right.
And Greco, you know, it's the people from those countries, most of them.
Yeah. Are they usually more athletic? Are Greco guys usually more athletic, or is that they have better? Like, what do you?
I mean,
like
physically, probably, yeah, Greco should be more athletic. Yeah.
Athletic, stronger, faster, or
Stronger.
Stronger?
Probably stronger, yeah.
All right, so that's the way to appeal to people. If you think you're a strong wrestler, you should be doing Greco.
You know, Aaron actually wanted to do Greco when I met him, or he met me. You know, he wanted to do Greco for fighting. and for boxing. And he won Fargo, and we tried more, and then I realized I could not find any support for Aaron, and I said, let's do freestyle.
Right. It was a practical thing.
Yeah, we could not do anything in Greco. And that's why I'm saying I'm thinking about this development program where I can take kids, like I setting up camp in October. I can have some kids pretty much almost for free. I will need just, from parents fly, which is October is cheaper. So I'm trying to use my connections where we can exchange, have maybe, cheap stay in Europe. And let's say like this camp I'm trying to do in October, we're going to stay in Poland. But from Poland, every weekend, we're going to have a tournament. One tournament in Denmark, one tournament in Czech Republic, and one tournament in Poland in the weekends. And you can have a minivan and drive 5 hours to those places and train there. I mean, compete, come back to Poland, or they have a camps after tournament, and each country have, like those tournaments, like 15 countries, local: Denmark, Sweden, Finland, Estonia, Poland, Germany, Italy, they're all there. And again, the Greco way more popular there. So that's what I'm trying to do for October, to have those kids. But again, it's not commercial camp. I'm trying to find kids who potentially could win Cadet World, and
Right.
maybe junior world, and maybe Olympic Games in 2028. So that's, and then if this camp would be successful, next one I would have in Georgia. I have a lot of friends in Georgia where and it's a great Greco school. And by the way, country of Georgia, it's a 3 million people population. They have a perfect Greco, perfect freestyle, perfect judo. It's not like a one sport. And it's only 3 million people. They just won team as a judo World Cup, Judo World Cup, right? And they always, last year they won, 2024, Georgia won world title as a team, 2024.
Man.
And
Yeah.
in freestyle.
Yeah, you just see how balanced these other countries are. I
Yeah.
wonder if it has to do with the fact that because we have state championships, NCAAs, and freestyle is a lot closer to Scholastic.
Yeah. System not supporting Greco. That's why I'm saying maybe we got to treat Greco as a different sport.
Yeah, it's possible. Possible. All right, good stuff. Well, we got to work on your book next. Your book on world-class wrestling coaching philosophy. We got
Okay.
that. We got that coming up sometime in the next year too.
Perfect.
Good stuff, Valentin. Thank you very much. We'll talk again soon.
Thank you.